What's going on, everyone? On my X episode 41 coming at you, joined by the normal crew, starting with Justin Joseph, my man Hunter JJX. He did his first ever husband and wife stream. That was really cool to see. I want to hear some more about that. And I see you've been getting the crazy clips on stream, posting dailies, getting your reps in and matchmaking, man. I've been lurking. I've been in the shadows, but I've been watching. But how you been, Justin?
I'm doing good, man. Yeah, my wife and I did our first ever like husband-wife stream, and we've like dabbled in games here and there together before, but we've never like actually like sat down and we're gonna play a game together. So that was super special, really fun, and like a lot of folks kind of enjoyed the content. They were like, "This is so wholesome," a lot of people were coming through. So always appreciate the love and support on stream. But yeah, I mean, I feel like I was going through a bit of a drought clip wise the last couple of weeks, and then today was
100
just...
JJX, man. You can't go through droughts. We need the content. We need the clips every day.
But then I've been playing like that doubles playlist because that just came out, and that's like insanely sweaty. Like I'm matching Tylenol and Trippy every game, or like all the doubles kids. So then like I switched to fours today after playing twos all day. Literally, my first game in fours was an Amp TS. I dropped a Kilimanjaro and 2 overkills in my first fours game in like days.
Let's go.
And then was just popping off clips all day. So it felt good to get some clips back on there. But I'm doing good, man, and good to be back here with you guys. How about you, Faisal? How you doing?
I'm good, but before I get to me, I wanted to get to my man because I saw Wes over there. When are they gonna get to me? I've been waiting to tell these guys about my week.
You do this thing where you just take over the podcast. It's like sometimes it's not even a trio, man.
Oh, me?
It's just a joke.
Jeez. All right. Well, I'm not going to say what did Justin introduce you the last 2 weeks?
First and foremost.
First and foremost.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Like
Okay, we got Wes.
You guys know
It's
the vibe.
clutch. All right. No introduction. It's clutch. What's up, Wes?
Throat's kind of sore. It's like I'm getting instant karma for making fun of Hunter for getting sick every week. So probably going to be on the softer side of things today from me, just with how it's feeling. But other than that, I'll leave for Memphis tomorrow. I got a weekend back home with the boys. Could not be more excited to just rage.
I want everyone to pay attention to like the form of Wes's face and his jawline right now, because by the next episode it might be a little bloated. Might be a little extra on the face, with all the food and
Hey, what did you think he was about to say?
There's something wrong with my jaw. I thought he was saying like, a little crooked. I'm like, if there's something wrong with my jawline, you should see the other guys. But I'll leave that at that. I'm really gonna try and be disciplined and not ruin a lot of the hard work I've been doing, but it's gonna be tough. That being said, I'm also going to rage and enjoy myself. So if you try to judge me for having a good time, then that's on you. So
we're going to be disciplined, but we're going to rage. Like,
well, there's no whole bars once I hit a certain level. So it's like I know myself, and I'm just going to have a good time. So very excited for that.
That's awesome. Yeah, for me, it's a little different. Like going to San Antonio and from Houston, but it's always fun to see the old homies, the people you grew up with in your hometown. It hits different for sure. So that'll be good. If I don't know if you could tell on camera, I tried fixing my light to make you not notice, but I have like really bad sunburn. I was telling these guys before the show went live. I had like a work event, and I'm in Houston, Texas, so Texas gets really hot. In case you didn't know, and I was outside. I'm prepared. No sunscreen. Life lesson: always put on. Even if it's not. Like, if you're just going out in the sun, put on sunscreen. I'm talking like it's some big secret, but sunscreen is like super anti-aging. It's supposed to like, I don't know, and obviously it's really good for you.
Most gamers, it probably is a big secret, to be honest. We're
actually,
you're right. So our audience actually probably doesn't know.
Wait, yeah, what the hell am I talking about? Forget what I just said. Y'all are good. You don't need to hear that.
We're the perfect audience that needs to hear that information in order to, if we get into the circumstance, to not follow in your footsteps.
No, so you thought you were going to get the brown pass and be good because you got some melanin and not get burned, but here we are, and now you're burned up. I've been there. I can
honestly. That's actually very true. I was like, it's sunny, and I remember, people mentioning how sunny and hot it was. And I was like, yeah, it's bad. I didn't even think about it. And then the next day it's like red as hell, and today it's peeling, and it's crazy. But yeah, other than that, tomorrow is is the last day of Ramadan. If it feels like just yesterday, I was like, oh, Ramadan's starting, and now tomorrow. It's been 1 full month as of tomorrow,
Okay.
and it's the last day. I wasn't able to keep all of them throughout the process, but I just dropped a couple here and there just because I wasn't feeling too well. But every year I like to try to be consistent with that. I already talked about it in the last podcast, but it's a good reset for me, and it's always something I enjoy, and I feel fortunate about.
Were you monitoring like your weight and stuff? Like, have you lost a lot of weight or anything? No.
I haven't, but I think in terms of just like the way I feel, I don't think I've lost or really put on weight from I don't know. I'm weird. I have to really try to put on
during Ramadan.
I would say so. I think some people might, because you think about it, you probably binge eat after you've been fasting for so long.
I would.
Yeah.
I would eat till I'm uncomfortable.
Exactly, and people do that. So you just got to find ways to make sure it's still healthy and you're still doing it the right way. But So and then after Ramadan we have Eid, which is like a big celebration. So I'm actually driving to San Antonio tomorrow. I haven't even told you guys. Tomorrow after work, and spending Thursday and Friday with the family, with the parents, and gonna get to go home and kind of relax a little bit. So looking forward to that. And
sure, I feel like I need to go somewhere. You guys are on the move. Like, let me go somewhere. Where am I gonna go tomorrow? I don't know.
I'm just going to see my parents. Wes is going to Rage, so that's.
Hey, my parents
then see his parents.
Hey, my parents will both get down to party. So
I hear that. All right. Cool, definitely. But yeah, man, let's talk some Halo. Another week, another Kellogg's qualifier. We got our players locked and loaded, ready to go. But
final eight.
Wes, actually, I know you've been obviously involved with that stuff. So I'm gonna toss it to you and kind of let's hear your thoughts about everything going into the top 8 free for all. The 1v1s at the end. Let's break it down for the people.
All right, so top 8 players, 2 qualified every week if you haven't been following. So there's 8 finalists. They're all competed in free for all to get to this point, but now it goes down to a 1v1 bracket where the winner will win like $15K. All sponsored by Kellogg's. Esports Arena's running the tournament. It's absolutely insane, and it's going to be some intense 1v1s, right? So from first to last, the order of the players that qualified is going to be Frosty, Saiyan, Envor, MZ, Renegade, Stellar, Goldstar BR, and Manny.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Manny and Goldstar BR are the latest 2 that qualified.
Wow.
Shout out to them.
Manny.
Shout out to them before we even, because we gave a shout out to everyone as we were going through the qualifier. So shout out Manny and Goldstar BR. He's been.
Did any of us even predict them? Did any of us even predict them last week when we were thinking about
I mean, it's hard, but we had so many good players that names we were throwing out.
You got players like Bubadubu and Bubadubu and Eco that like.
Eco got 3rd, man. I was like, dude, I wanted to see him in the top 8. I did.
Dude.
I wanted to see
we got
him
no
there.
Bound, no Stellar, no Eco, no Boo Boo. Like, that's some pretty
Those are some heavy hitters. Hitters.
Something we do need to talk about, which we could talk about this now because it needs to be said. Bound, I'm sick and tired of this kid's attitude. I'm gonna be straightforward and just upfront with it. Like, acting like an absolute child in multiple tournaments now at this point, I think. What happened was, so your free for alls are 2 games per round, right? Round is, I forgot what round it was, probably round 3. Bound gets 7th in the first game, so he virtually has to like play perfect to win, and maybe he has a chance to get top 4 in advance, which he probably does. He's like, it's like 6.5 minutes left in the game, and Bound just gives up and starts running top middle and standing still, and like giving other players like free kill. I'm just like, dude, what are you doing? Like,
at least quit the game. If you're gonna be that bad of a sport, at least quit the game. Like, you know what I mean?
Like, dude,
that's some garbage, honestly.
No, neither of those should be. I feel like there's no at least anything. When you're
obviously,
play the game. Like, are you competitive at all? I'm just so confused. Like, how do you? There's 6.5 minutes left, and you start throwing. Like, you literally give up. Like, at that point, like, you got to be called out, and he's probably gonna hear about this, hate this, like. But I mean, like,
that needs to be said though.
I might sound like a boomer, but like, that shit did not happen back in the day. Like,
no,
like
that's embarrassing. Honestly,
play the game. Like, you want to compete. You don't want to compete, then
No,
just stream and have fun, right? Like,
no, in any
one of the
sport, in
two.
any competition, when someone like pushes the boundaries of like unsportsmanlike conduct that far, or like just bad sportsmanship, I should say, you got to call it out, you know. So it's there's no way you can do something like that.
This kind of stuff has been happening ever since Sentinels quit out of that finals.
That was bad too.
Yeah, dude. I don't know,
Everyone
and
else
I know
has been
what they
doing
would
some
say.
stuff like this. Like
I don't
Renegade
know
did
exactly.
it.
Yeah, like, but I feel like their reasoning on it, and this is completely just me assuming it, but it's like speaking about Sentinels back when they did it was like, oh, it's an H3 event, like who cares? Like, you know, it's not that serious. But you could say that, and obviously I wouldn't expect them to do it at Worlds. Like they're not gonna,
No.
when they're in the finals and they're losing, they're not gonna quit, you know, because it's a bad public image that way. But it shouldn't be because whether it's you're doing it because it's a bad public image compared to just doing it because for the competitive integrity of it. I feel like Sentinels and anyone, even, you know, now in this instance bound, you just
especially when this is all we have. Like this is all we have, these events, and not to mention it's like Kellogg's is a new sponsor coming into the scene, you know what I mean, and trying to get involved and throwing stuff for us, when we have nothing going on. This company comes in and throws money and puts on a good show and this and that, and you want to like go out and like completely disrespect them, the game, and the competition. It doesn't look good.
At some point, it's like you're trying to be bigger than the moment.
And we probably do, honestly. Now that I'm thinking about it, we probably sound like the boomers, like you're saying, like, oh, it's not that serious.
There's some badasses out there that like are buddies with Bound that will be like, yo, like, don't listen to those guys, like they don't know what they're talking about. It's a stupid format. Like, then don't fucking play.
Yeah.
If I'm at 24-hour fitness and I'm playing pickup basketball and my team is down 11-0, I'm not walking off the court yet. We play at 15.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like
definitely, and not to mention,
it throws off the flow. Wes. That's not even a game for money, right?
That's just like pride. Like, your pride's got to fucking like step up. And sorry,
and not to mention, like we don't even touch on the fact that it ruins like the flow of the game. So then it's almost
you're
like
literally affecting other people's.
Yes, exactly. That's where it really
3 kills.
Yes, that's where
I'm ignored. I don't care about you as an individual and like your choice to fail. Like that's
because if I'm in that FFA, I'm salty as hell. Like, dude, like you know,
I see that like
anybody I see killing him, I'm pissed off about it.
Exactly. Like, damn, I didn't get the spawn next to him, so I couldn't kill him. Like,
and they killed Bound more than me.
Yeah.
Now I'm mad.
Yeah, exactly. So for that, I think that is the biggest. That's a superseding reason for that. It affects the people in the game.
Yeah.
No, I mean, we're talking about like, oh, it's a bad look. You should care about the competitive. I mean, sure, like you can be the build your character or build your scene in the image, however or your image in the scene, however you want. You can be, you know, like we had the bad boy Pistons compared to the Bulls. Like there's people.
Not even equated.
No. My point is like you can have whatever persona you want, and you know, to give out to the community. That's fine, but when it affects the game and other people's like progression in a tournament, that's where you have to call it out and say, hey, that's not okay. You know,
and I mean, and this coming from like someone who's like never even been to a LAN, right? Like you're not gonna see an eco acting this way. You're not gonna see a Renegade or these guys that have been there. Like that's just, I don't know, man. Like you are not bigger than this competition. Period.
What round was that? Wait, when was that?
It was like round 3 or 4.
Oh, okay.
It was like it was kind of deep into the tournament to where like it's only a 5-round tournament, so like round 3 or 4, like other players that are important are getting
shafted.
Yeah, like
that's crazy.
But Goldstar BR and Manny made it through. I want to give them their ups for sure.
Take away,
no, I think that was worth it. That was worth it. I didn't even know that happened, so I'm glad you brought that up. I love like when Wes puts like when the Sheriff P comes out, you know, when it comes to competition.
Someone has got to police these children because some of this is just not okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, do you think, like, if you're running things, like, are you thinking there should be penalties for these sorts of things?
You would not compete if you did some stuff like that. I was running the tournament. You would not compete you would be banned for a little bit of time. Dude, you're gonna have to sit and think about what you just did.
Yeah,
like, and that's how it should be. It's like you're not bigger than players are not bigger than the league.
But maybe if it was, I think if it was like a HCS roadmap event and it happened, that would I could see there being penalties
Well,
or
yeah,
I could,
I'm talking
but
about,
because
like,
it's like a one-off kind of thing, like to just Justice's question was like, what can we do about this?
Oh,
I
no,
think
no,
in
no,
this specific instance, like you can't. It's just
No, I'm
it's
just
a
saying,
one-off
like,
tournament.
yeah.
But moving forward, if stuff like this were to happen on like an HCS roadmap, then there definitely has to be some sort of I think there has to be some sort of penalties for it.
This kid is the worst part about it is this kid is too good and too talented and too up and coming.
No, he'll be huge in Infinite. Like his skill is there.
Yeah, but like to be doing some stuff like this, like you're digging yourself such a hole, Bound. Like, if I ever said anything to you that you listen to, get a grip, dog. Like you have potential to make money and make a living doing this. It's coming. Do not do anything that's going to stop you from getting on a team, that's going to like give off these negative vibes, that are going to stop sponsors from wanting to be a part of your life, that are going to like, it might seem like a small moment now, but like all of this is like, remember,
it's
like,
on the resume. It's going to be on the resume.
I'm not going to forget that you did this. I promise you that. Like,
I think.
And right now he's cool with like, right now his team is like his boys and like he's in that group. But to your point, man, we're gonna have orgs involved. We're gonna have big time money involved. Sometimes friendship is all fun and games, but trust me, we've all been there where that business supersedes the friendship sometimes, and you gotta. And if that happens, and then you're left with options outside of your like personal clique or friend group, and you have to try, teaming with other pros or whatever that aren't, then this kind of stuff isn't like, like to your point, it's like a character, it's a part of your character that's remembered,
It's like, who's to say that like Bound is so good at Infinite, and maybe somebody on Sentinels is like slacks off or something happens, God forbid, to one of them, where they have to pick up a 4.
Yeah, that's a good example.
And like Bound is like the best individual player that they can pick up, but they are going to weigh your professionalism in. Like they're going to weigh your ability to like maintain a level of professionalism. Like you don't want anything on your resume that's gonna like affect that at all ever. Like you want to be a straight and narrow, hardworking. Like it's like what's a good analogy for like football? It's like Terrell Owens, like unbelievable player, but like he had so many off the field like issues that it's like teams are sketchy to pick you up, right? Like
and for the record, we are. I'm kind of trying to take a step back and look at this. I think we are very over exaggerating we're kind of over amplifying this specific instance compared, especially to like Trello when talking about all the Bound doesn't have a history to my knowledge of like, so by no means, I think we're making a greater point at this part of the conversation.
It's more so the Sentinels point.
So because Bound, like other than this,
quitting.
I want to throw it. I think this is a statement just for everyone out there, and obviously we're taking that Bound incident as like a starting point to the conversation. But obviously that's not okay. But we're not trying to go. This isn't only about him. This is just like a general
entire theme right now.
I do want to say, like, I think I can speak for all of us when I say, like, we all here on My X have, like, really high hopes and expectations for Bound. Like, we're all, like, as big a Bound fans as you could imagine when it comes to his game and his potential. So, like, it's not us just sitting here wanting to roast him or, like, we don't like him or something like that. No, we see that he's got potential. We see that he has potential to be something special, especially moving forward in Infinite. And so we just want to see the best, and with stuff like this can really affect your image, period, moving forward. So, we expect to see better. But like I was saying before, I do want to give some ups to Gold Star BR.
Back to that. How do we get back to that?
I don't know, but Gold Star BR coming out of nowhere. Manny, who's an established player, with KCP, but man, dude, to come out and shock against, Boo Boo was in there, Eco who got third. This is a cool opportunity for some lesser known names to kind of shine in these 1v1s. So I want to give them a massive shout out for clutching up in that. Let's get
I have a quick question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Question before we get into the predict. This is just a fun little question. I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Out of the 8 players that qualified, who surprised you the most? Like whose name in that 8 were you like, damn, he's in there?
Do you want me to go first, Wes?
Yeah, y'all go first.
For me, it's not even so much that it's a surprise. Vemzy, I don't know who that is. So
really? That's gotta be a surprise.
Yeah, so for me, it's like, well, I don't know enough about him. You know, maybe if I haven't, paid attention to streams and stuff in that scene. So like, maybe from watching more of his screen stuff, I would know. But yeah, I'm not really familiar. So it's kind of like, man, like this guy. I mean, he had to be something special if he took that spot over, Eco, all the other guys like we talked about. So Vemzy for me is the one that is like the outlier in my mind.
What about you, Wes?
I think Vimsy is a good answer. I think Manny, especially after last week, where like so in week 3, he got first in the first free for all in the finals, and then he got like 8th.
Oof.
So he like having to like deal with that mentally and like try and rebound from that, and
back,
it's impressive,
and try to like knowing that he's like a new player in the scene, and like I could see how like you linger on that loss and how you're not able to like so quickly rebound and somehow make away with all these juggernauts still in the tournament, like figure it out. Like that's kind of a surprise to me that he was able to connect those dots so quickly. He's got the skill. When he's on, he's on. He's kind of an inconsistent player at times, but like when he's on, like his presence is felt, and he was once again obviously on in order to get through this. And maybe he's developing some consistency to his game, which would be nice. Like that would really boost his ability to play at a high level, which is like something that you want to see from those KCP guys. So I'm definitely going to be paying attention to him. If he's able to beat some of these guys in 1v1s, that's going to be another big statement for like Manny's future.
I think too, like it's even more impressive when you think about the gauntlet that is like making it to the finals in a free-for-all event. Free-for-all tournaments are so much more, in my opinion, of like a grind than like fours, because like in fours you have your teammates to kind of lean on. You know what I mean? Like outside a game, and you kind of motivate each other and pump each other up. Whereas free-for-all is just like relocking in over and over and over again for multiple free-for-alls, by yourself, and you kind of having to get it done, so shout out to him for doing that. Wes, I feel like you disagree.
I think I disagree. I think making it to like the grind of the fours, like dude, it's when you are going up against like straight ripping triggers down, you name it, Dynasty, Impact, whoever it was, like Instinct, like to ask yourself to try and beat those guys like in progression is just such a difficult road. So I understand the individual mental fortitude, but I think that's also, honestly, I think it's almost more so in a 4v4 realm where it's like you got a best of 5, typically in a free-for-all, things can go like you can get on a roll, you can get some momentum, you can get things going your way. If your shot's on, you got a chance. But like in fours, you got to outplay these guys, and you got to do it in the best. You got to do it in the best of 5. Like you gotta actually outplay these guys. Like you can't beat them in a game, you can't beat them in a Slayer. Like you can't like have the jump on them like individually shot wise. You have to actually outthink these guys.
Yeah.
Like for a full best of 5, and I think that like the fortitude that takes sometimes is.
I was thinking more to like the bounce back of it, because like for me in like fours, like presumably if you have like a good team, good teammates, like if I have a really bad game, like I might be feeling that, but a good teammate will reach over and be like, no, like we got this, bro. Like boom, 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 boom. Say the right things in the right moment. Whereas in a free for all series, I have a bad game. It's like it's on me to now pull myself back together. I'm not gonna say like the free for all grind or game grind or series grind is gonna be tougher than fours, because obviously, like you just said, going up against those juggernauts, climbing that mountain is its own thing, and it takes 4 people. You need to have 4 people to climb that mountain, right? Like you couldn't do that on your own. So I'm not disagreeing with you. Basil, did you want to weigh in?
Yeah, I mean, I think those are good points. But the only thing I would say, or I would like to add to that, is so y'all are kind of using the reasoning of, at fours, you're playing against the Sentinels of the world, the Triggers Down, the Straights. But technically, if we're breaking it down that way, then those same players would also be in those free for alls. You're still going up against the Royal Twos, Elite. If we're just kind of making this scenario up, right?
Well, I think the strategy around fours is so much like more in depth. than
I agree.
free
I
fall.
and
of
that's why
course,
ultimately
of
I
course.
agree with. I do think Force has more of that, but I think that point doesn't, because for free falls you could still be playing those same big names, but it's just not a collective. They're all individual, obviously.
But they're not
But
all
yeah,
stacked against you. It's like everybody's against. When it's everybody against everybody, nobody's singling you out. When I feel like when it's fours, like
but
you're
imagine like an 8-man FFA and it's like
Yeah.
Cloud,
well,
Royal
nobody, yeah,
2,
nobody's gonna be
Lethal,
missing in
Snake
the
Fight.
finals. Yeah,
It's like, damn, you gotta. So if you get
No matter
killed a few
what
times in
corner
a
you go
row,
around, it's like
if you get killed a few times in a row, it's really easy to go down a rabbit hole. Like, shoot, I'm about to get popped. Like, but then you gotta lock it in.
Well,
It's
I mean,
all
that-
you. It's
that's
like to Justin's point. Like, there's no. Like you on one corner is Snake Bite, the other corner is Ola, and then you go down to Snake, and like it's Lethal or Roy. Like that free for all, it would be hard to lock in. So I think you're right, Justin. It takes like a specific mental kind of area. Do you have to keep locking in continuously? Fours, you have that more of a leeway. It's almost like comparing like a Slayer to like a Capture the Flag or King of the Hill. Like Slayers, you could kind of. You have to be really locked in for every death, and King of the Hill free for all, or King of the Hill and Capture the Flag, you can kind of just walk around through the map and die a few times, and it's not really that serious. But Team Slayers, every
Kinda
death
feel it out.
matters. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
But let's jump into some predictions here though, because we have the 8. I was looking so hard to want to predict Boo Boo to win this whole thing just because of the way he plays, and I felt like he would have been perfect for 1v1s. But here we are. He didn't even make it, So, Basil, I'm going to throw it to you first. If you want to take a minute and look at the 8 names, who do you stands out as like, man, I think this guy is really going to pull ahead?
It has to, for me, it has to be either Frosty or Saiyan.
The first 2.
Yeah, I think it's very indicative of how good they are that they were the first 2 to make it. No messing around. They locked it in first try, and that's what I expected out of those 2. I mean, it's arguable. We talk about it on the show a lot with different Halo 5 players who's the best in the game. I know we threw Stellar's name in there towards the end. So and obviously Renegade. There's so many players you can really have a solid argument for, but for me, for like this whole H5 Pro Series time, it's got to be between like a Frosty or Saiyan. Like they were always kind of those juggernauts, and with all due respect to the Renegades and the Stellars and the Royal 2s, but it's gonna be one of those 2, I think. What do you think? Who are your 2?
I'm curious.
Your player?
I'm curious, Wes. Like, do you know format wise? Like, is it going to be like the first 2 that qualified
I
playing the
don't know.
last 2?
I
Like,
don't know.
Okay, like
Yeah.
it'd be interesting to see how the seeding works, right? Like if Frosty and Saiyan are 1 and 2, like obviously they
should be
had
on
to make
opposite
it
sides of the bracket.
exactly. That's what I'm thinking. So, but for me, I think there's some dark horses. Like I think on any given day, Renegade can be the best player in the game. Period.
Absolutely.
He definitely
Right?
could be. Yeah.
And he believes in himself enough. I think in this 1v1 scenario, you have to have the utmost belief in yourself in order to really especially in Halo 5, a game that is so based on like confidently challenging, confidently like the just the thrusting out, the ego challenging. Like you gotta really believe that you're so much better than everybody else. And I just I get that from Renegade, where I know that he believes in himself in that way.
Have you met Frosty?
Obviously. I was trying to pick a dark horse.
All
like,
these
for me,
players at the
you
top
know?
8 think they're I think they're the best. Honestly, everyone, whenever you're this high level, I feel like all these kids are gonna be ego challenging out the wazoo, and everyone's gonna be thinking they can take all these fights, obviously with strategy behind it, because they're all the best players in the world. But yeah, Renegade he's a beast, man. I can't hate on that answer at all, because I think he's nasty.
Yeah, but Vemzy, the kid I've never heard of, let me see what you got. Like that could be cool to see someone that, like a new name come in and
I
go
would love
far,
to
make
see
it to the
someone like
finals
that
or something.
Make it far. Pull an ace.
I think Gold Star BR wins this thing.
Yeah,
I mean, it's possible. Like Ace won the global championship, and like, no offense to Ace, like great player, but if you're telling me Ace and Pistola are going up against each other, Vegas probably has the odds around -500 for Pistola. So, like, no offense to Ace, but like,
yeah, ones is its own thing.
Right?
Right?
Yeah, but I think you can win a 1v1. Like, if you can get control of the pace and you can dictate and get the information you need, and like, obviously your shots need to be hit, but like, I always like thought that I was a good 1v1 player, and it was like not like I'm a Pistola or I'm not like a roll 2 of the world. And I like considered myself pretty solid at ones. And it wasn't like it was like all about being able to outplay like one individual and like just what does he think I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do something separate. Like what is the right play? Let me not do that because it's predictable, right?
Yeah.
And with that, like that kind of like cat and mouse games are always played to where maybe someone like Vimsy actually has like a individual play style that's just like kind of crazy for ones. And
maybe people are unfamiliar with it because they haven't played against him as much as they've played some of these other guys, you know. So
that's the thing too. Sorry, Wes, not to cut you off, but that's the thing about ones is it's such a specific game type, like it's such a specific strategy that I think it's more so of like knowing like ratty spots or like ratty fights to take just like I remember whether it's Halo 3 Guardian 1v1s or Halo Reach 1v1 and obviously Halo 2, you know, you had Halo 2 is big with 1v1s too. I think it's just repetitiveness, just like anything else. You gotta play. I'm curious to know if all these 8 players are gonna be practicing these 1v1s. They're gonna be. I want to watch their streams. If they, I mean, I don't know if they'd want to stream it because 1v1s are so strategy based.
Right,
like you don't
you're gonna learn.
Maybe you don't want.
Very quickly.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think 1v1s are just such a specific game mode that you're right. I mean, yeah. Whoever practices the most and has the nerdiest strats could win this thing.
If I had to pick 2, I'd say I want Frosty. It'd be. Like that's like the Pistola of Halo for me. Like at the time when Ola was in the finals and lost. So like, I think like Frosty's the favorite. And then if I was gonna bet on like if there were odds out for this, I would take Stellar's odds because I think he'd have pretty good odds, and I think that like he can win this thing. I think playing Stellar in a 1v1 would be miserable, dude. Like Stellar does not miss. Like he challenges the hell out of people.
Did he make it?
Yeah.
He was week 2 with Renegade.
He was week 3 with Renegade. Renegade and Stellar were in week 3.
Gotcha.
But like I think the dark horse.
Cloud9 boys.
Yeah, I think the dark horse is Stellar by a long shot, and
he's always underrated for somehow.
He's gonna give a lot of players trouble in 1v1s, and I would not be shocked at all if he won the whole thing.
What about you, Faisal? Who you got? Who you thinking?
Yeah, like I kind of what's for me it's Frosty and Saiyan, right? I said at the top of the sub topic at the top of the topic. Yeah, I think Frosty and Saiyan, like I said, you know, they qualified the first week. They didn't take any unnecessary risks and obviously locked it in early. And to Wes's point, Frosty has like that Ola kind of vibe to him, I guess, where he's just such a beast. He does everything. He's
the best player in the game.
He's really, you know, he's definitely in the conversation for the best player. So yeah, but for me, Frosty and Saiyan, I still think Saiyan is really going to be a problem.
Yeah, I look forward to these things, man. I think they're just gonna be a bloodbath, right?
I could see Saiyan, yeah. Like I could see Saiyan winning like 15-0.
Dude, Saiyan is nasty,
and
man.
I could
like
see him tilting. I don't know. Saiyan tilts sometimes, and like I'll get worried about like if the start of a game doesn't go his way.
Yeah, that's the thing when you look at someone like Stellar, you know, where it's just like even keel, no matter what.
It's a rock.
Nothing is gonna get through to that guy. You know,
you're gonna have to kill him 15 times, and none of them are gonna be easy.
Oh man, I'm excited to see who the champion's gonna be. Something else to be proud of right now, you know, as we're in the Halo Infinite waiting room. But as every month goes by, we're getting closer.
Be sure to let us know, obviously, in the comments who you guys are predicting to win it all. Go ahead, Wes.
I'm looking forward to seeing that.
I think that's good for episode 41. Wes, you want to get us out of here?
Yeah, absolutely. Pretty short episode today. I think we had some good topics. Very excited. Make sure you guys check out the Esports Arena tournament. I believe it starts on this Sunday. It'll be around 1 o'clock Pacific time. I believe that they kick up the stream every week, 1 o'clock Pacific time. Esports Arena, twitch.tv/Esports Arena. Kellogg's 1v1 tournament. These are going to be lit. If you're a Halo fan, if you enjoy watching two juggernauts go at it, every single one of these matches is going to be pretty lit. It's going to be fun time, good atmosphere. I'm sure there's a lot of money on the line. We haven't had that in Halo in a while. So Check it out. That being said, this was episode 41 of On My X. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, hanging out with us, checking out the content, like and subscribe. Leave some comments if you got the time, if you have something to say to anybody. And have a blessed week.